Welcome back to another video, and in today's video we have ranking every AEW to WWE transfer or move, basically people who have gone to AEW, left, and are now in WWE and made their first stop in WWE. Now we have over 9 people, I think. We have CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Andrade, Ethan Page, Lexis King, Ricky Saints, Jade Cargill, Penta, Shawn Spears. Now, we don't have some people who may have done a little bit of time in AEW, but we have most people who did a good amount of time there and played a role in that company at one point in time. But yeah, ready to get into things?
Yeah, let's do it.
And we're going to kick things off with maybe the most important, and that is CM Punk. Now, we're going to rank it on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being it hurt the company really, really bad, and 10 being it helped the company as much as possible. So for CM Punk, what is your rating from the AEW point of view?
From the AEW point of view, obviously, there's no way to look at it and say it was a good thing. I feel like, some people might say it was a good thing because he was bad for the locker room, whatever it might have been. However, I don't think from, a business's standpoint, losing one of your biggest stars can be looked at as good. So I will give them a 2. It's not a 1 or a 0. It's not going to break the company and bankrupt AEW or anything, but it's definitely bad.
Yeah, for this one, I didn't go that low. I originally went with a 4, but I think I'm going to change it to a 3 because I think it has hurt it, obviously because the name value-wise, CM Punk was the biggest name in that company, and now that he's gone, it hurts in that way. But I do give it a little bit of a boost just because, like you said, the backstage politics of things kind of that only needed to happen because he needed to leave. So I think that helped him in that way. And since they haven't had too many real backstage brawls or anything to that level by any means. Yeah.
And then from the WWE side of things, pretty cut and clear. It's a 10. He's been a megastar. He's going to be a champion. He's going to main event a WrestleMania at some point. And yeah, it's CM Punk going back to WWE after such a long period of time. So
yeah, I also gave it a 10 as well. But next up, we have Cody Rhodes. Now, from the AEW point of view, I went with a 5 for this, and the real reason is because in AEW, Cody already limited himself of what he was going to be able to capture in that company. So I kind of just went with 5 because he would never be the world champion, so he would have never been as big as what he would be. Obviously, they could have made it a way where he could, but at the time, AEW's thing was, we're not going to be WWE, so I'd imagine they wouldn't have done that at the time. And yeah, I think that him going to WWE has only helped him, and AEW can be a little bit jealous, but not too jealous at the end of the day.
Yeah, I have the exact same thing as you. I have him at a 5 for AEW. Everything you said, pretty much just ditto that. Yeah, not too much more to add to that. And then same thing for CM Punk. As far as WWE rating, it's going to be a 10. No other way to look at it. He's a megastar. He's a world champion. He's main eventing multiple WrestleManias in a row. Going to be a 3rd or 4th one, maybe 5th one coming up. So, yeah, he's going to main event many WrestleManias to come.
Yeah, a 10 as well for me. But next up, we have Andrade. Now, for this one, from the AEW perspective, I went with an 8 because really he wasn't getting used, and it kind of was only he needed to leave because you have such a good talent that he needs to go somewhere else, and if you're not going to use him, he needs to leave anyway. So the fact that he did go helped them a lot that they don't have, and they need to kind of trim down that already stacked roster.
Yeah, for sure. Same thing, except I gave him a little bit high. I gave him a 10 all the way, just because he was kind of a non-factor for them, because he was kind of, not because he's bad by any means, he's putting on very good matches. However, there was nothing real big planned for him. He never really had big moments in AEW like he has had in the WWE. So I feel like just losing him, it was good for just getting him off the books. He was unhappy, so now hopefully maybe he's unhappy there as well now. Who knows? But at the time, definitely I would say 10 for AEW because there's no reason to keep a guy who's unhappy. And then for WWE side, got to give him a 4. Because he's had this, that great feud with Carmelo, LA Knight. They had a pay-per-view match at Crown Jewel or whatever it was. But outside of that, he hasn't done anything prominent. Obviously, debuted at the Rumble. That's pretty cool. But outside of that, hasn't been much. So I'm gonna give him, from the WWE side of things, a 4.
Yeah, I went with the 5 just because I think like you said, he hasn't done anything since the Carmelo feud. However, it gives the WWE the opportunity to do it down the line. That he's just a real contender for maybe not a world champion, but he can always win the United States champion at any time. But next up, we have Ethan Page. Now, for me, for the AEW things, or side of things, I have him as an 8 because in AEW he was never going to be, a top guy, really, unfortunately. He doesn't really fit the AEW mold in my eyes. So, yeah, I'm with an 8 because I think it has helped him, again, to trim down that big roster.
Yeah, I put it at a 5, just right in the middle. I feel like it doesn't matter for AEW, but it's not like it helped him. He's a younger guy. He has, a family history in the wrestling business, of course, with his father being Brian Pillman. So yeah, I feel like, it's good to look out for some of these younger people. AEW doesn't really have a big grasp of the younger wrestling, audience or wrestlers. And so, people like Lexis King can sometimes help that. So, not a big deal for them. Gave him a 5 right in the middle. And then for the WWE side of things, I mean, I would say it's a little bit better than in the middle because he is your Heritage Cup champion. He's doing big things like facing Moose. And he's getting better and better in the ring as well. And I'm getting more and more behind him. So I'll give it a 6.
Yeah, for Lexis King for WWE side, I went with a 5 because he hasn't done too much. He is the Heritage Cup, like you said, but to me that doesn't mean too much in the big sign of things. But next up, let's go with Ricky Saints.
So for Ricky Saints on the AEW side of things, I think that obviously it made a mess with AEW, just a lot of bad press for them, kind of, with them holding his contract and all that kind of stuff for so long. However, I don't think it was too big of a deal. I gave Lexis King a 6 for kind of the opposite reason of this, so I'm going to give him a 4 for the same reasons, being that he was a prominent star. He was a champion, a tag team champion. People liked him, had one of the cooler entrances, one of the cooler personalities and promos. But, AEW is one of the best matches. That's what they're looking for, who can put on the best matches. And unfortunately, Ricky could never really keep up with the Ospreys or the Darbys or, the people of that world.
Yeah, for Ricky, from the AEW side, I went with a 6, just because, like you said, he was never going to be maybe the number 1 guy. Maybe he could have floated around that scene, and he kind of did for a little bit. They kind of teased it, maybe he would be next up. But I think that the fact that they ended up letting his contract run out or releasing him or whatever they did with him, we just helped him out a lot. So like you said, the PR was kind of stacking up, and I think it was kind of almost a power play from Tony Khan to say, no, I'm not going to release you immediately because I can't just send anybody out when they ask for it, and just in case anybody else would do that. So for me, I went with a 6 because of just everything that happened around it. But from WWE, what do you have?
I have exactly what you gave to AEW. I have it at a 6. It's very early, so who knows exactly where it's going to go moving forward. But everything that we've seen so far has been pretty good. Nothing to complain about, but nothing really to write home.
Yeah, for WWE, I have a 7, just because he instantly has become a top contender and is an easily top guy on the NXT men's division.
For sure.
And then next up, we have Jade Cargill. What do you have it for her, the AEW side?
So I have the exact same thing that I have for Ricky. I have a 4, same thing as him. She was a champion, I believe the longest reigning TBS champion. And just one of the more prominent people on AEW television in their women's division. The women's division gets little time on AEW, and she was one of the more prominent people, so losing someone like that always sucks, so I gave her a 4.
Yeah, I gave her a 4 as well, pretty much for the exact same reason. But what about your WWE rating?
For our WWE rating, she's been doing pretty good things in a great storyline right now. Has been a women's tag team champion already as well, moved straight up to the main roster, no NXT, so I'll give her a 7.
Yeah, again, also with the 7 as well, so yeah, pretty much the same reason as you. Next up, though, let's go with Penta.
So for AEW, I have it pretty low because he's a really just good wrestler. He was one of their better tag teams. He was a multiple-time champion over there. So obviously losing him always sucks. So I'm going to give him a 3.
Yeah, I give him a 3 as well. I think it hurt the tag team division a lot. Losing, obviously, half. Obviously, he'd also lose Ray Phoenix, but he hasn't in WWE yet, so they're not going to rank him just yet. But yeah, I think it definitely hurt him more, not as a single star, but as a tag team side. It kind of it got rid of one of their best tag teams in the company's history. But what about the WWE side?
Yeah, for the WWE side, not gonna give him a 10 because he hasn't won any gold. However, they gave him, the super hyped up entrance. They're giving him really good singles matches. He's putting on a really good show. His music's awesome. Everything about him is awesome. So I'm gonna give him a 9.
All right, yeah, I give him with an 8, just because, pretty much for the same reason. I think he's become a top guy. He's adding something new to WWE. There's not many guys who wrestle like Penta, so he is getting a lot of TV time. He's going to get really over because of how good he is and how different he is to a lot of people.
For sure.
And then last but not least, we have Shawn Spears. What is your AEW ranking?
I'm gonna give it an 8. It's one of those things where it's like, he's one of the older people on the roster, not really a big factor for them at any point really, and he has a WWE history, so letting them leave and get back to his WWE way of things is nothing bad for them, but obviously it's not good for them to lose anyone.
Yeah, I gave it a 7, just because I think I gave it the same reason for Ethan Page or somebody like that, just because he was never going to do too much in the company anyway, and that the fact that they trimmed down the roster could only help him, just because paying less people now. But for WWE, I gave it a 5 because he is the current North American champion. However, the storylines don't feel too big of a deal. He doesn't feel like a big deal just yet, so I kind of went with a 5, but is a name in the men's division that is kind of needed.
Yeah, I gave him a 6 just like I did with Lexus King, just to match him. He's technically a champion right now with the Heritage Cup trophy, and so is Shawn Spears. He's in a faction. He's got good storylines. He's being used quite a bit. He's had segments with Cody Rhodes and whatnot. So yeah, definitely. Oh, and also I guess for Ethan Page, he should damn near get 3 points just for having that segment with The Rock on TV. A dream for him come true and everything. But yeah, with Shawn Spears, I'm giving him a 5.
But yeah, that will wrap it up. Yeah, pretty much with this though, at least for me, I realized that for the AEW side of things, yeah, there's a few that definitely hurt quite a bit. I think for the overall thing, it's kind of helped them in a way, just because, as I mentioned personally, I think trimming down the roster was a big deal for them, and now that they're kind of seemingly doing it more and more now, I think it's only going to help them down the line.
For sure.
But yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, make sure to like and subscribe. And yeah, see you guys in the next video.